I didn't see it happen. And then like working out, surrounded it, like got out of charge or sprinted. And I was like, it was so, and I couldn't back out. Right, we were parked, so I was just walking. I was like, wow. Like when I was to do.
No, quiet. Welcome to our almost end of the year. Almost. 2 more to go. This one and another. May 7th, 6:30. 7, 6:37. Oh, are we on camera? Can you kill us for a moment?
Sound is on.
Excellent. Okay, calling to order. We will begin introducing with board members starting over here.
Jeff Hanley. Larry Manning.
Joanne O'Brien.
Kate Merrow,
Dan Coates.
Molly Rogers.
Jackie Fless,
Tony Beat.
Linda Caputo.
Megan Carlson,
Janelle McKinnon.
Michelle Tucker.
Administrative staff.
Katie Gould, Superintendent. Sarah Sims, Principal at Gardner Regional Middle School.
Angela Hardy, Director of Curriculum.
Josh Farr, Adult Education.
Terry McGuire, Director of Technology.
Andrea Dish, Business Manager.
Sarah Boldick, Director of Special Services. Christina Ferreira, Assistant Special Ed Director. Christina Levine, Principal at Laura E. Richards School.
Vicky Duguay, Principal at Riverview Community School.
Esther Light, Principal at Princeton Randolph Consolidated School.
Sheree Poole, Principal at Helen Thompson School. I'm Lauren Arnold, Principal at Gardner High School.
And Abe Dosty, sitting in the middle of everybody.
Date section.
Excellent. Thank you all and welcome. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Oh, how did you know? Thank you very much. Who will be, Molly, will you be our time person? Yeah. It's a short list tonight, so,
We want to read this.
yes, yep.
Yeah.
Would you?
If we're there. We're about to convene into the public comment period of our meeting. State law in Maine requires a public comment item on agendas of a full meeting of the school board. Please note that the public comment period is not designed to be a discussion. Accordingly, please do not expect the board to respond to your concerns and questions tonight. I also want to point out that under state and federal privacy laws, we are unable to entertain any comments or questions about school personnel, particular student matters, any rumors presented as facts that compromise the privacy of others, and any health or medical information protected as confidential. On any matter of concern, we would ask you to go through the appropriate administrative channels. We ask that speakers please address comments to the board directly rather than to the audience. Speakers may address items pertinent to tonight's meeting agenda or any topic related to the school unit's programs, policies, or operations. In the unlikely event the meeting becomes unruly, the board will recess the meeting and return once order has been restored. Finally, I want to remind everyone that you may submit written comments to the board in lieu of speaking during the public comment period if you so choose. Regarding the protocol for this evening, please review the board pamphlet, Welcome to our School Board Meeting, that provides a copy of policy BEDH, which is public participation at board meetings, that explicitly outlines the manner in which the public comment will be managed. Individuals who wish to speak are required to fill out the sign-in form. Those who wish to speak will be required to state their name and town or city of residence before beginning remarks. Consistent with policy BEDH, the board will hear public comments from residents and employees of the school unit first. If there is time remaining in the public comment period once all residents have had the opportunity to speak, the board will permit comments from non-residents. The board will now entertain public comments for 20 minutes. Each individual speaker is allotted 2 minutes. The individual time limits will be enforced so that as many members of the public who wish to speak may be allowed to do so. Thank you.
Paige Dennison.
Hello, I'm Paige Dennison. I am currently in Ed Tech 3 in the pre-K program at LER, and I just wanted to read a statement today. When my daughter was in pre-K, I decided it was time to start back to returning to work and thinking about after being home for 10 years raising my children, going back into the workforce. I attended an adult education course on substitute teaching to ready myself. I then applied to work as a substitute within this district and was promptly kept very busy. While substituting at LER, I learned about an ed tech program, an ed tech position that might become available because the current ed tech was applying to be a kindergarten teacher. When she was offered the position, I went ahead and made sure that I had all my credentials in order and applied for the job. And I was also given that job. But, sorry, I have to find my spot. I have now been in the pre-K position for 12 years. While many ed techs over the years have used this position to either start or end their career in teaching, it has been my career. I could have very easily been transitioned to a full-time teaching position, but I enjoyed what I did so much that I chose to stay as an Ed Tech 3. Now, I certainly understand that this year would be full of changes within our district, and never did I think it would be my position. I know that budget cuts have to happen and that positions change. It is about the way that it was presented that can make a difference. I found out that my job title was changing because it was discussed at either a board or / finance meeting, I'm not sure which, and someone came to me and asked if I had been approached about it. It would have been very much appreciated that had been brought to my attention ahead of that meeting. A few weeks even went by even before it was confirmed by my administrator. Once again, full disclosure would have been very nice.
10 seconds.
It seems as though my dedication in the district isn't valued or considered and made my stomach sink thinking that no one had the decency to even give a heads up that this was coming. I was offered a position to take over someone else's job as an Ed Tech 3. I cannot do that because I'm not qualified to be in the high school. I'm in education and early childhood.
Let's do a pause for a second. Can we vote to extend our time?
Yes. Yes, important.
Let's get that out of the way.
So you want
Should we, move, I move we extend time. Second. For.
all those in favor?
We're all voting.
I skipped ahead, or if I go back and read what I wrote.
Go right ahead.
Thank you.
Yes, it's important.
I just have to find what I'm so sorry. It seems as though my dedication in the district isn't valued or considered. It made my stomach sink thinking that no one had the decency to give a heads up that this was coming. I have been a solid employee, always giving more than needed. Before the time clocks were installed, I was always early to my position and I didn't leave until my tasks were finished. Now I can't even do that unless I am not clocked in. If I do that, I sometimes forget to clock in time, and then I have to send an email to say that I have to fix my time card, wait for that to come through, and so on and so forth. I just want to go to work and do my job and work with children. I also received a letter saying that I could bump somebody else in an Ed Tech 3 position. I don't want to do that. Number one, I work in pre-K because that is where I'm qualified and that's what I like to do. And second of all, I don't want to take someone else's job. They work hard at their job too, just because I have seniority. The whole point of me being here today is to state how I have felt. It feels like as an employee, I am just a number, not someone that wants to do their job. Going into the next school year, not only am I changing my title, I'm also losing wages. It's not so much about the pay, because it's not. It's about how it was provided to me and the way it was done. These changes, my first response was, it just feels yucky. In the future, please consider how an employee is treated and respected. It is not hard to pay a quick visit and explain that there may be changes in advance. It is a horrible feeling to be blindsided by this. And once again, it felt as though my job didn't matter and what I have contributed for the last 12 years as a dedicated employee just didn't seem to matter. Thank you.
Fred, it's your turn.
You gotta speak up.
Sorry, I had a little frog.
Fred Merrill, West Gardner, 64 Newton Road. I just wanted to stop by and let people know that I was running for the board. Molly's position, since she's not running. Just wanted to introduce myself, wasn't sure you knew who I was. So here I am. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice shoes, Quincy. I like your shoes. Thank you. All right, review and approval of agenda minutes, prioritization of items and alteration of the established agenda format sequence as needed. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Second by Linda. Questions? I'm sorry.
Were there any changes?
I'm sorry, did I jump that?
There's none. There are none. Thank you. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of minutes of previous meetings, regular board meeting of April 2nd, the special board meeting of April 16th, which is attached, and the special board meeting April 30th, also attached. Motion, please. Motion approved. Second. Second by Barry, okay. Joe. Oh. All those in favor? Great, thank you. Recognitions and celebrations as written.
As written.
Excellent. Correspondence. Committee reports. Administrative student presentation.
Oh, yes, we have high schoolers here today. I believe that we have our adventurers first.
Could I just sit here?
Come on up to the podium. We are looking forward to hearing about
I
your
was
trip.
hoping you would say that.
Not at all.
So I was not the one who led the trip, but our fearless leader is currently ill, maybe watching, love you. But we went on a 10-day trip to France and Spain over April vacation. It was a blast. Unlike last year, there were no travel hiccups, which was the best part. We went all over France. We went to Paris, we saw Versailles, we saw Arc de Triomphe, we went to Avignon, we went to Arles, we went to Nîmes. We saw a lot of Latin stuff, which I really liked. That was really cool. Then we took a train, which was fun for the kids and me. We went to Spain and we went to this town called Girona and which was wicked cool. And we went on their Valentine's Day, which was neat, that we got to like experience that. Like the boys would get the girls a flower and the girls get the boys a book. Or we all just get books. Literacy is key. And then we spent the last 3 days in Barcelona, which was magical and fun. We had a great mix of parents and staff and students. And Mrs. Kramer wanted me to stress that she was very impressed at the students' ability to navigate these giant cities and being able to find where we were going to meet and meet there on time. Even though we come from such a small community and such a small state, it was very impressive and it was a lot of fun. Yes, agreed. Okay, good. Yeah, it was a blast. We had a lot of fun. Do you guys have any questions?
I saw a lot of pictures on Facebook and it looked great.
The weather was beautiful.
It looked perfect.
The worst day that we had, it was a little rainy. When we went and walked around Van Gogh's little painting spots, which like, I think he would have liked
Yeah,
that.
he would have totally.
He would have been so happy with the moods.
You had a rainy
Exactly.
personality.
Right, we went to a park, I don't remember what it's called, and we had like a little drawing lesson,
Oh, sweet.
and then mine was obviously the best one.
You can attest.
So you guys that attended, what was your favorite part?
I really liked Spain and their environment because I've been in the Spanish club and I'm in Spanish 3 right now. So just seeing like the culture and seeing people be able to speak it so fluently and like be able to pick up on those conversations just from what I've learned, I think that was probably the best. And like talking to people who are native speakers of Spanish and having them talk back to me and holding conversations, is really interesting.
It was really cool to be able to see the students practicing their French and Spanish where we were. Like we would go to a restaurant and they'd be like, I'm just gonna order in the target language. It was so fun to see. And it was so great because we were there with one of the French teachers and one of the Spanish teachers. And so to have them see their kids thrive in this way was really neat too. And while I'm standing here, do you want to talk about Lions Club?
Not yet. We do.
You're gonna make me stand again?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait, favorite food?
I liked it all. I liked it all. I got a very specific meal plan tailored to me for my disease, but I liked it all. They did not like eating meat off the bone.
There were a lot, they don't like flan.
They're not like flan.
We had flan more times than we wanted, that was two. But then we got macarons for it.
Yeah.
So that was
And meat
nice.
off the bone?
Yeah, we had one of the first things they gave us like little turkey legs, which I've never seen a turkey leg that small. So I thought it was like a pigeon. But it was not, France did not do food well. Barcelona did much better. Now we know. If you go to France, you're gonna have to pay.
Anybody else have anything they want to offer? These fantastic experience they had?
The pictures are up there from some of the trips.
Look how cute we are. Oh.
All right then. Well, thank you for coming. Really
And-
appreciate it. Yeah.
And we have NHS, our National Honor
Yes, we
Society as
do
well.
Bye, Olivia.
I don't know, we're somewhere in between, we're right here.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Amber Dossi. I'm the National Honor Society Advisor at the high school, and we're here to just kind of talk about what we've accomplished this year. It's been a really busy year. I have a slideshow that I've sent to Terry and I've sent to Lauren, but we're going to just kind of go through it while we present a little bit. We have 39 members currently, and at the end of this week, we'll have accomplished over 730 hours of service. So it's been a really busy year, a great year. But I'm going to let these guys kind of talk about it, and then we welcome any questions.
I'm Ava Versum. I'm NHS and student at Gardner High School. I guess I'm just here to talk about a little bit like why I joined and like what it means to me. So I first joined NHS because I worked hard enough and was lucky enough to join. And then I wanted to mainly because of all the service opportunities, and I love just giving back to my community because they helped basically raise me. And getting to meet other people who want to do the same thing, like we all work towards this one goal of like helping our community is so it's so powerful, and I love it very much. We also have a scholarship. Am I right?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, we actually fundraised enough money this year to offer a $500 scholarship to one of our seniors up in NHS. He determined who it will be, but it's a great opportunity.
So especially that makes me very proud of my club because we can not only like help our community, but help the people in our club and succeed in life. And hopefully they can carry those tools they've learned in NHS out to the world with them and bring other communities service. So.
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm here to talk about kind of the character and leadership of NHS. As Ava said, it is very, very important that we serve our community in this club. And as you can see on the nice little slideshow, it'll be filtering through events that we have done as a club. And so to be a part of the club, you have to embrace character of honesty, responsibility, respect for the community. And so therefore, a ton of people apply. There's a major selection process to be in NHS. So therefore, people who may not think of themselves as leaders join this club and therefore are kind of just like transformed into leaders. It's really neat. I love seeing it because I participated in leadership activities before NHS, but to see people come into the club and partake in these community events and say, oh, well, I can like, you know, like lead this group to do something great for my community. I really like seeing that. And I am very grateful that members of the NHS both embrace their leadership qualities, both in the school and also outside of the school. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sophia and I'm treasurer of our chapter of the NHS. We do a lot of service projects like over the course of the year. We offer so many opportunities. But I think my personal favorite would have to be our Thanksgiving baskets that we make every fall, which we make and give out over 100 baskets. They have turkey, canned goods, basically like all the Thanksgiving essentials. And we get to hand them out to needy families who may be struggling and aren't able to buy them for themselves. So, and that's just really awesome because you kind of get to see firsthand the change you're making and the effect you have on people, because you just see how happy people get when you're able to help them. And I think that's really special. I think like NHS really does prepare students for the future in a really like effective way, because it kind of shows people how unity can like make the community around you better. It also kind of teaches like punctuality and like commitment, because you have to be at meetings every Thursday at 7, and even if you don't want to show up, you kind of have to be there. So I think it teaches like real world expectations. So like you have make a commitment and you have to be there. So I think NHS does a really good job at preparing students in that way. And yeah, it also kind of teaches you to have a voice. Like as an officer, I have to share my opinions and I have to speak out sometimes. And I think that's a really valuable trait that NHS has kind of allowed me to have.
I'm Addison Post, and I'm the secretary of our chapter of the NHS. The NHS builds school pride. I think that it's a great way for our community to connect with our school and get closer with students in it. And it's a way for our students to represent the school and make us look good for the people around us. The NHS is a very important activity that you have to be involved in, and it teaches students how to balance everything in life, whether it's academic activities and your service that you do within the club. And I think that it's a great way to teach kids how to balance their time, and it's makes them learn that it's something that they have to do. Like you have to want to be there to be able to do this activity. It teaches you to be driven and complete activities in a way that helps those around you. And lastly, overall, what should you know about the NHS? It's a great way to be connected to everyone around you, and it helps people learn to have outreach, help others around you if you see someone that needs help, and it teaches students accountability. It builds students into people ready for the real world, and it teaches them to help those around you. Thank you.
So the overall, it was mentioned the requirements to get into NHS. There is a rigorous application process. Students have to maintain an 85 GPA. If they slip below, it's automatic dismissal. There is an appeals process, but for certain things like grades and service hours, if they miss it, they don't stay in. So it's that accountability piece that was mentioned is really important to NHS. These are national standards. So it's, if they commit all the way. Just, anyone who didn't talk to them? Do you guys have any questions for them?
Favorite project or one that stood out?
Sorry, like it came to mind. I really love doing the community suppers. We put one on, we try to do like every month, but it's kind of.
We don't do many in the spring because the spring is really
Yeah,
busy.
but we try to really focus on in the winter because it's kind of the time where people need a warm place and a warm meal the most. So I think that's my favorite activity. It's because we all just like kind of get together with food and then like serve, and then sometimes like we'll sit down and snack and like with them and just converse
And some of you have seen people out in the community, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I go to the library and I like see people there that I've seen out there, and just like I think it really connects me more with my community and not just like the people in my school, but the actual community. So.
Two favorites actually. I have participated in like helping Head Start, the like cool like pre-K type place. And it's just, I think it's really fun because they kind of just hold me up in an office and go and say, go cut out 5,000 things for us. And I'm like, yeah, let's cut out 5,000 things. Yeah, no, it helps kids, it helps take the load off of people who need less of a load. Yeah, and also I like seeing the aftermath of blood drives. I can't participate in them, but I love when people come back after doing them and being like, yeah, all bruised and going, it was great, but also my heart.
We've had some great successes with blood drives. It's super scary and some, I mean, they all go in really gung ho. We've had some beautiful failures as well. So, yeah.
I really like doing the tagging at IGA. I was a part of it. It was just, even though it's kind of like a big rejection therapy and a lot of people avoid eye contact because they don't want to give you money, you say hi to everyone, you get close to the people like in that community, and being able to like be there to raise money, knowing that it could go towards a scholarship for one of the seniors, because it's only for juniors and seniors, so you get pretty close with the seniors that are there. So knowing that I was like a part of raising money that got them a scholarship was just, it's really nice to know that I was a part of it.
You can tell when you say like, good morning, and they just go.
They avoid eye contact at all costs.
I'm like, okay.
I really like when we get to make the cards for like the Thanksgiving things and all of that. I really enjoy that because one, I kind of have a fear of like interacting with people sometimes just because I'm worried they're gonna like be rude or something. But yeah, maybe I gotta start tagging, but but I really enjoy making the cards, and it's like, even though I know that I won't see like the face of the person when they get them, I know that they're gonna be like happy and excited, and it's like something that I put so much time and effort into will be enjoyed.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed the Thanksgiving baskets that we do. When I was there this year, yeah. It's fine. Anyway,
He's a junior, so he has another year to go.
so there was loads of just boxes everywhere, and we had to first we had to actually stuff all the tabs down inside the boxes, which took a little bit. And we had to put each individual item into each thing, and it was a lot of fun per se, but a few paper cuts as well.
Carry all the boxes out. They're like flat end and then like having the tape. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I think the Thanksgiving baskets, like they show us like in real time just how easily you can change people's like days or months. Like your actions really can have an effect on others. And I think we really get to see that with the Thanksgiving baskets. So it's a really cool thing that we do.
What grade is each of you in? Shouldn't point.
I'm a junior.
I'm also junior.
Senior.
Senior.
Junior.
And it is, this year, it is almost a perfect half and half split.
Nice.
So.
And you'll see some of these senior names on the top 10 list when it comes back around.
We like that.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
A question. So it's a rigorous process to get into NHS. What advice or tips would you give to students at school who aspire to become a member of the National Honor Society?
I would say don't put off your application till the end. It's, like sneaks right up on you.
I would say just be honest on your application, and also think about just things that you've done like for the school or the community, because certain things that you think, oh, that's like not enough to say something about my character or say something about my service. It honestly is. Like I put a lot of stuff that I didn't think that was character, and I guess it is. So
So the application process is the letter and the other pieces of it. It's not really that bad or painstaking to fill out everything. I honestly didn't think I was going to actually get into it, and here I am. So just at least giving it the attempt if you're offered the opportunity goes a long ways for you. Even if you're rejected, then you are allowed to try again the next year, and it's a fun opportunity.
I want, yeah, you can do it.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
I love your hand.
So the application process, I think definitely still take it very seriously because like it is like a serious thing, but have a little fun with it. You know, like NHS is supposed to be fun and you're supposed to be helping your community and just like with other people in a fun, happy way. So just kind of like just have fun. You know, we all need some whimsy in our lives.
And we do have a rubric process, so it's a very standardized process.
Oh, yeah.
Council of Five.
Yeah, I have five
Council of Five,
high school teachers who are my mysterious council of five. That, I don't make any of the like overall decisions. I'm just the middleman, so to speak. So it hopefully reduces the conflict between, because I work with the students directly the whole time. So since I don't make the decisions, hopefully that kind of conflict is reduced, so. And five, they'll never be, like, it's an odd number for a reason.
I would say like another thing, like, don't underestimate, like what Jay was saying, don't underestimate what you wanna like put on there is like who you are, cause like the entire time I was filling out the application, I was on the phone with Ava and I was like, do you think this is dumb? Like, is this actually like worth putting on my thing? And she was like, no, that's exactly what I would put on there if I were you. And I was like, okay, but like, I feel like it's weird. And she's like, no, put that on there. Like, it's important. Like, that's who you are. And so like, just don't underestimate yourself. Cause I feel like everyone does that a little bit.
Yeah, that's so true.
I just also.
Joanne, we're just gonna make wait a minute.
Also, like a good thing I would say is don't see it as another thing to just put on your college application. Like it's a really amazing thing and it opens doors to so many service opportunities. Like I know a few people, they started doing the Charlie's Rescue Friends, like that's when we go and play with puppies that just came off like trucks to Maine. And a lot of people do that in their own time, in their free time now, and it's really become like a part of their lives. So NHS can really change your perspective and change your life. Like it doesn't just have to be something, an extracurricular that you pick up.
And the puppies are super cute, but they don't always arrive super cute.
They're smelly.
It's actually like really hard work and it's 100% attention 100% of the time. So it's wonderful, a little heartbreaking because not everybody goes home with a puppy that volunteers. I think at least one of us this year maybe did go home with a puppy, but yeah.
Will you guys go home with a puppy?
No, oh, no. My one's enough, so.
When do they apply? Is it the end of the sophomore year?
So they will apply the very beginning of their junior year because we need, since the GPA is a mandatory piece, I send out emails to all students with 85 or better GPAs by the end of their sophomore year. But by the time we know that for sure, usually school's out. So it's usually by mid-September. It was a little bit earlier, I think, this year. But I give them about a month for the application. A community member has to write a recommendation, so they have to figure out who they want to ask and then give them time to write the write the recommendation. So usually a month is sufficient. Yeah. Not for me, I guess. It's okay.
And then you guys do a really good induction ceremony.
Yeah, we do it in, I think maybe a little bit earlier this year
It was like end
too.
of October, early November.
So, you know, what's interesting is for our juniors have to have their service hours by June 1st. But for the seniors so not every junior who can be an NHS applies, and those that do, not everybody gets in. So it gives them another year to try again. And this year we have a couple seniors who applied as seniors, not juniors. And because the induction ceremony is a couple months into school, seniors have to be finished their hours by May 1st. So it gives them a very small window to accomplish those hours. So the kids really have to be driven to both apply, be inducted, and then start their hours. So.
I have a question for the seniors. Who is going to college and what are you going for and how do you feel this has helped? Okay.
I'm going to UNE for occupational studies to become an occupational therapist.
I'm going to the Maryland Institute College of Art, Micah in Baltimore. I am planning on majoring in illustration.
I'm going to Pennsylvania State University to major in kinesiology on a pre-med track.
I'm going to Hudson and I'm studying conservation law. And NHS has helped me in realizing that I like working with my community. I want to become a game warden, so it helps me in working on my outreach in the community and being able to connect with people.
Oh, yes. NHS, really, it did show me that you can have an effect, like a positive effect on your community, and it inspires me to, like, wherever I go, I want to continue to make that effect and continue to volunteer and service wherever I end up.
I feel like the two have said exactly what I want to say. But I chose this specific college because they have clubs and they have like a social life in which I can engage in the community and I can help people. So like between like my first and second option, I picked this option because I can actually help people in school more effectively than going to the other option.
You all like better than, but I'll reiterate. So NHS, I feel like has also really grown like my people skills. Like I feel like I can interact with people more with ease and like seeing the direct effect of like my service and me helping someone has really like, I don't know, it makes me realize how much I love people and humanity and how much I want to like help that. So. Yeah.
Follow-up question for you juniors. Where do you hope to apply in the fall for college and what are your dreams to, or what you want to do?
Say Yale. Say Yale, but I don't know where I want to go, but I know that I want to maybe go into like some sort of like psychology thing to become a therapist because I really want to be able to help people, and I see a lot with like my friends and my family, like what they're going through, and I want to like help them with that no matter like what it would like take. I always want to like help people, and I think NHS is an important part of that because I get to help my community, even if a lot of times I have to do it behind the scenes because I'm a very busy person. And I think that NHS has really helped me with like learning how to affect people more by doing what I like do.
I've gone to like college fairs and I don't really have anywhere pinned down, but I really like the University of Toronto and I really like UConn. But I also want to major in like psychology and become a therapist, usually like specializing probably in like younger kids to teenagers, because I go to school, like I see how teenagers struggle with mental health and how there are so little resources like with therapists and like costs of therapists and just a lack of it in general. Like there's not a lot of availability for kids to get the mental health resources they need, and a lot of the times they just don't want to. So I want to like be a part of that. I want to help kids so that they can grow up and just live their life and not bury down everything that they like have in their soul and be sad for the rest of their lives.
So unlike those two, I actually have a school that I would love to. So my dream school that I've always wanted to go to is WPI. I want to go for computer science, so like the more programming aspect of that. I will also be applying to Champlain College, which has a really good course in that as well.
I also teach psychology, so this is like my best life here.
May I add one more thing? And I think both of your parents may be happy with me, maybe, or I'm not sure, we'll see, but the University of Southern Maine has a really amazing program called Social and Behavioral Sciences. It's a combination degree of sociology, psychology, and anthropology. I went back to school as an adult after a 20-year sales career, and that's what I'm doing. I've got 6 classes left, so maybe we'll see you. But the great thing about that program is that as you're talking about wanting to help people, there's after you do a certain amount of classes, you can get a license called the MERT-C, and that classifies you to do a case, you're a case manager in the community. And as you earn your degree, you're able to also have the professional experience alongside. And it's really vital. So there's a lot of need in our community and right here in Gardner and around. So good job. I like psychology people. So thank you.
And Ms. Collins wants all of us to go into Latin.
They're all gonna be Latin.
Every single one of us.
Well, thank you so much. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Good presentation.
Let's get down.
Bring my phone. So.
No, I have my phone. Waiting on one meeting, not ready, yes.
I'm ready. Committee reports, curriculum.
You got it.
Sort of blends in nicely with this. On our curriculum, in our curriculum meeting on April 14th, this was total news to me. We shared with us about outdoor learning and how in high school, they have 4 things that they do: snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, canoeing, and orienteering. These are done outside in the community. The idea is hopefully that the students will experience something that they want to do the rest of their life, to set them up to be outdoors and active, and this also, of course, builds confidence and all those nice things. And apparently at the middle school, they do rock climbing on a wall and mountain biking, but haven't done mountain biking for a while because the trail is not available.
We're gonna have a weekend coming up where we're inviting people to come help us clean the trails,
Okay.
rakes and.
And the bikes are already there, all the equipment was. So that was the outdoor learning aspect. And then we had an elementary teacher come and talk about how they're taking their classrooms outside. And so I think, oh, okay, let's take our chairs, we'll sit outside in the circle, we'll do math outside. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about going out and collecting data, looking at, I'm making this up, tadpoles in the pond and counting them. They're looking at nature and collecting data and hypothesizing and looking at that. And the thing that the teacher kept saying is, we go out no matter what the weather is. And I'm going, oh, good. You know, if it's snowing and raining, they have all the rain gear that's been donated or bought with grants, and out they go. I can just see these little yellow mushrooms walking out.
Can I interject and tell everybody the most impactful part of that for me? My daughter was a criminal justice major. You know, we have, Criminal Minds and everything on TV. What was impactful about that presentation for me was that the teacher actually has like a mini like body farm. And so they were actually analyzing the decomposition of.
But not of a body.
No, of an animal body, not of a human body, but of an animal body. They were like measuring like the decomposition, how many maggots there were, like things like, I was getting a little sick as the description would be, but I think that's fantastic that the students actually get to go they're walking in the woods. They happened to find this, they, segmented it off. It wasn't planned that way. They segmented it off with fencing and they were able to study this. And also understand, like, if they're hiking in the woods, what might they find? They might find a sick animal. It was really awesome, but it was a little queasy. So, yeah. So I thought kudos to that teacher. So, yeah.
And the other point that she made is that she was trying to expand this program and to encourage other teachers to do similar kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then if it's okay, we had a meeting Tuesday. Can I talk about that one? Sure. Another curriculum meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. On May 5th, we had a curriculum meeting, and the purpose of that was to look at our funding that we got for Title I, II, 4, and 5. And there was a lot of detail. There was a lot of information here. And what I'm going to leave you with, if you'll let me get away with this, is saying that our funding was basically flat. We got a little more here and a little less there. And Angela's working very hard to spend this money in the ways that will best help the most students in our district. Is that enough detail?
And we had a motion and carried it forward with a recommendation to the board for review.
Right.
So is that now or later?
Can be no.
So the motion was to, Title I is interventions, math and literacy. Title II is class size reduction and some professional learning. Title IV gets moved to Title V. And Title V is a math intervention at Helen Thompson because they don't qualify for Title I. So what our recommendation is for this year is to shift the staffing at LER in the literacy side of Title I from 2 Ed Tech 3s. One is currently vacant, being held by a long-term sub who is teacher certified, because that's the rule. And she's doing a great job. And one is aware of this and how there's a transition plan. From 2 Ed Tech 3s to 1 literacy teacher. There's a $3,000 difference with an estimate at the highest end of whoever could take that position on. So Andrea helped me identify the estimated salary and benefits at a very high end. So to be sure we had enough funding. We may go through the interview process if you approve it. And it may come in under that, at which point that would allow us some flexibility in the Title I funding. We have a meeting in June, and if there was flexibility in the funding, we'd look at ways to adjust, further enhance our staffing model. So the recommendation was to allow that staffing model shift at LER for next year. And we discussed our long-term goal of trying to, if possible, have a literacy teacher in Title I interventions at each of the buildings. So right now we have it at Helen Thompson, funded differently. Riverview, we would have it at LER, and our goal is to eventually have that at Pittston Randolph. We're not quite there funding wise to be able to do that. I'm sure you've read about that. We're doing our very best. So the reason we chose LER over Pittston was because of where student achievement data is and where our the way our dollars are calculated against established financial need from the community. It's like the free and reduced lunch rate. It's actually called the direct cert rate, but the calculation. And so the dollars under something called rank and distribution need to be spent more at LER than at Pittston Randolph based on rules. So between that and the student achievement data, the current student achievement data, we selected LER first. And with the goal of over time trying to figure out how to finagle title dollars in the long run for Pittston in the near future. So the recommendation was to shift to Ed Tech 3s to a teacher position for longevity, for sustainability, and for expertise. That's how we wrote it, right, Linda?
And so we need a motion for that. Is that correct?
Technically, it's a change in positioning, and so I do need that. It does, whether it's, and this is federally funded, but it's still under your purview.
And this is basically what happens every year with this funding, is it has to be kind of moved around in order to make it equitable for all the buildings.
Just like for Title II for class size reduction, we look at where the numbers are and the needs are, and where it's allowed to be spent.
Right.
And we identify, we don't really reveal, well, I don't know if we reveal the name of the teacher because it's irrelevant, but we identify the location and we use class size reduction dollars for that. And so it pays for a teacher's salary and benefits under Title II that doesn't need to be paid out of the local budget.
So I would move, we make that adjustment as recommended.
Second.
Second.
Second by Jess.
Is
the service currently at Pittston Randolph and it's being?
No, it's not.
No,
Pittston
it's
Randolph
not.
has going to remain well, the two positions there, math and literacy will remain.
Okay.
The positions will remain. There's no change. The goal is to elevate the literacy role in the future when we
Okay.
can find a way to pay for that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Following the rules. So that's the challenge, the navigational challenge around that. But they're not losing anything.
Okay.
They're maintaining and quality services.
Just so you all are aware, as we were working through this on Tuesday, the concern was raised of, Pittston Randolph not having a teacher and only having ed techs. And when Angela was great, she's more of a math person than I am, but when we sort of reallocated those monies and tried to see what could be provided where, right now there's a it's like pretty much flat, but there is a $12,000 like deficit in what was proposed, but when we added a teacher into Pittston Randolph, it became a $79,000 discrepancy, and that's not something that can be absorbed at this time. And so, maybe the budget, we were quoted like $86,000 for a professional position at the high end, but maybe some of that money would be made back if we hired a teacher with less experience or whatnot. So, but as it stands, like looking at the numbers, there's just no way to have a teacher in each school. However, the ed techs that are in Pittston Randolph are more than qualified. One of them has a teaching certification or license.
She resigned.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I forgot that part. So that's why. So we're being asked to vote tonight on sort of keeping the status quo of what the title funds are, with the intention maybe of being able to hire a teacher another year in that school.
We do. Any further conversation? Yes, Joanne?
So we had an ed tech resign, or was it a teacher that resigned?
The Ed Tech 3 who just resigned because she secured a different position. That she revealed that in the letter she wrote you. She secured a teaching position within our district.
And it was an Ed Tech 3 that spoke tonight, saying that her position has been eliminated.
No.
That position is reclassified
Reclassified to an Ed Tech 2.
in a two-pay program.
Different program. It gets confusing. I'm not trying to make it confusing. That we did record the video. You're welcome to watch the hour of it. But if you have questions, just write me and I'll share anything I can. Cause there's a lot of rules, a lot of detail.
Particularly with the title funding.
Particularly with the title funding. I'm just trying to do right by the kids and staff, and we had a little more dollars, it would be a little easier, but we're trying to do our very best.
And stretch the dollars as far as we can.
We are. It all goes to staffing and salaries, and that we're required to spend 1% of our total allocation in Title I on family engagement activities. So that 1% is pulled out, monitored on how it's spent. It's a mandate. And then everything else goes to salaries and benefits under Title I to provide interventions for students who are struggling in math and literacy.
Did I remember correctly that if the staff that you hired came in significantly below what was budgeted, which is a possibility, and there was enough left over that perhaps an additional ed tech would be put in Pittston, or am I making that
Looking at a
up?
part-time position, and we don't know, but that's why we have a meeting in June.
So that's a possibility.
We will monitor the funds and the hiring process, and if available funds are there, we will come back to the table for a review and then for the board.
Okay, we have a motion by Tony and a second by Jeff. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. See, Finance Committee, everything is attached. It's just been those 3 meetings were budget. And rather than even try to encapsulate it, I would encourage you to watch the meetings if you have that interest. And we all should have that interest. Policy Committee.
Yeah, so we met on April 2nd, right before our last board meeting. We do have, let's see, 2 job descriptions for a first reading, 2 policies for a first reading, and then we're getting the pre-K student handbook finished up before the end of the year. So also a first reading there. Let's see, job descriptions, just kind of updated a little bit of the language for the school-based mental health professional because different licensing can fit in that. So we wanted to keep it general enough to encompass that. A little bit about the conditionally licensed to make sure that those folks will get the supervision that's required for that piece. So that's an update for that one. And the inclusion specialist relates to the special education programming that we have in that person. Actually, could you share a little bit, or maybe Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah, would you like to share a little bit about the position? The reason for the timing of the job description is that we simply noticed that it hadn't gone before you for official approval, although it's a position that this is our second full year with the position. And we have found it, for the reasons that we've discussed in this room, to be huge benefit to our special educators who are able to give up the paperwork load, the scheduling of meetings, the facilitation of meetings, and focus on the instructional work that happens with students from day to day.
With regard to the position, the job description just helps have clarity among all parties when we have the job description available. And in particular for the individuals, it outlines their responsibilities that range from facilitating IEP meetings, knowing all the rules and regulations, being able to guide teams, be able to make decisions, help teams reach agreement, which is a tremendous skill of theirs. As well as being able to conduct achievement testing, do observations, and engage at the school level with teams to provide support, feedback, and guidance.
Thank you. Bless you. And they kind of, they have decision-making capacity like an administrator at some level, right?
They act as the LEA rep at the IEP meetings. So if a decision needs to be made and the team can't reach an agreement, they're the ones charged with knowing the laws and ultimately making the decision that is the right choice for that student in the moment, and then standing behind that decision as needed.
Yeah, so right, so we just have those, so those 2 job descriptions. So if I could, I'd like to make a motion to,
Sorry,
sure.
I have a question. So I've been a big proponent of the inclusion specialist, basically so that we don't get sued and every student gets what they need, right? And all the paperwork is pretty hard to manage. The question that I've actually had from several members of the community is if this is just for the high school or is it for the whole district?
Currently K-12.
Okay.
I say currently, we are picking up 4-year-olds next year, but our intent is not to branch our elementary person into 4-year-olds yet.
Okay.
So K-12, we currently have 3, one that is currently for K-5, one that is for 6-8, and one is for 9-12. And we looked at that last spring, we'll look at it again this spring as far as distribution, student numbers, all of those pieces.
So we have 3 inclusion specialists?
Yes.
Okay, and so this inclusion specialist that we've been talking about also is administratively tasked with if a principal has to be out for the day or no, so there's the administrative component to their paycheck, so I'm not sure how that.
It's because they have the qualifications.
So this is one job description. We have 3 people in the role because we've split for caseload purposes, elementary, middle school, high school.
Okay.
Sarah can speak to the reason why that administrator certification is required and why that stipend is attached to the teacher salary. So this person. All three.
Okay.
All 3 people in the role need to be special educators by certified as special educators and certified as administrators. And typically legally, there always needs to be an administrator at every IEP meeting.
Okay.
And so again, part of the function of the reason for the creation of this position was to distribute some of the workload. And so Sarah, do you want to speak just to the special ed law requiring an administrator to be present for decision making?
Absolutely any of the three, all of the three can act as an administrator in the IEP meeting, even beyond making that final LEA decision. We're required to have an administrator, a special educator, the parent, and a regular educator in every IEP meeting. And the inclusion specialist, due to certification, that stipend is able to become the administrator if needed in an IEP meeting. So for instance, if an administrator's out, we can still have an IEP meeting and meet legal deadlines.
Right.
Rescheduling is really challenging, and oftentimes we're pretty close to our meeting deadlines. So if an administrator was out, sometimes in the past, other administrators have been able to step in, other times we've had to reschedule. And this allows us to meet that need.
I think that the public should understand that, you know, there is a certain process. One part of the process that I know is once a student has been identified as potentially needing help, your department only has 45 days to sort of start that process. And so it really does matter. But I guess one of the things that I did not know is that we have 3 inclusion specialists. I guess my question is, are they all at the same pay level as this job description has been advertised? And do we have 2 other inclusion specialists that have been working in this role? Or are we hiring for all 3? I guess I'm not clear on that.
We are hiring one.
Okay.
And this person will be, hang on, I want to make sure that this is our elementary. Well, the job description is the same for all 3 of them.
Okay.
We are hiring an elementary inclusion specialist only. That's the one that we need to fill at this time. What's the other part of the question?
Salary.
Oh, and that is based on the teacher's salary scale.
Right.
So it depends on the years of experience and the degree of education.
Okay. So because we've already identified somebody to fill that role, we are basing the salary on their current experience in the district and the salary scale set by state law. Is that fair to say?
It's-
Sorry. Can I?
The salary scale is locally established through negotiations.
Sorry, yeah.
And so placement on the scale is based on number of years of experience.
Okay. And we have 2 other inclusion specialists that have already been established. Okay.
Correct.
I just wanted to point out that we're just talking about the first reading of the job description. And so I don't know if we can really get into all of the hiring questions because it's not really that.
I
part of the
understand.
meeting.
I just think that I asked the questions because there's been a lot of members of the community asking these questions. So I wanted us to be just transparent online.
Fair, but
People can
it's
see.
not where we're
Okay,
at in
no
the
problem.
agenda.
So if I could,
Yeah.
I'd like to make the motion that we do move those ahead for the first read. And if I could get a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Janelle?
Sure.
If I can say any further discussion on
None.
this, okay?
Let's move it forward.
Yeah, all in favor? We also have policies GER, which is the manual for policy GE for non-unionized personnel. And that's included in the electronic packet. And then policy JCD, limited open enrollment for elementary schools. Let's see, so non-union personnel would be payroll specialist, so mostly like central office staff. And it describes fringe benefits, sick leave, personal leave, bereavement, and just kind of updates to align with other unionized personnel manuals. And then JCD, which is limited open enrollment for elementary schools, describes how there are elements of limited school choice within the district. So if a parent wants to send their student to a different elementary school, they may be able to, but it's really about space and availability, communication. So something people can ask for. There's not a guarantee, again, depending on where the availability is. So those are two policies coming forward, and then we just have the 4-year-old program handbook after this. But so if I could make a motion to move the two policies for first read.
Tony, the only, discussion,
And then
Who seconded? All three women on this
Michelle,
side.
yeah.
So
Michelle?
Awesome. Michelle.
Okay.
I think it's important.
Oh, sure.
To point out, there is a change
Oh,
to policy JCD. I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull it up now. And the
non-volunteer.
thought around that is something that came up throughout our budget development and conversations during our weekly finance committee meetings, because we really need a mechanism for being able to have some control over our class sizes and enrollment in each building. Oh, thank you, Tony. I do. Oh, thanks. Thank you. I have too many screens. So there's in your bundle on the bottom of page 1 in policy JCD, you'll see the bold and underlined paragraph that's been added. So I'm going to read it to just make sure that you hear it and while you are looking for it in your packets. And the idea here is that we have language in the policy currently about overcrowding, that due to overcrowding, a parent may request to enroll their child or children in another district school. And so there's a 1-page request application for open enrollment. And so what that process typically looks like is I'll get the request, and then I will have a conversation with the building principal and and I'm aware of class sizes, so we'll ask about class sizes and the dynamics of the particular grade level to determine whether or not, based on the reasons for the request, if that's in the student's best interest. And typically we're able to accommodate those requests. There's usually a good reason. Daycare is often a reason, or some sort of homeschool dynamic, transportation. And so it's a really simple and effective policy. We use it every year. We have students who attend different schools within the district because their open enrollment requests have been approved. Typically that's for reasons other than overcrowding. We've come up against the challenge of needing to do our best to stretch resources or use our resources creatively. It's very tricky across 6 buildings, and at the elementary level specifically, to do our best to adequately staff, keep class sizes down, but again, maximize where we can across 4 buildings. And so the language that was added, which shouldn't come as a surprise to you because we've talked about it quite a bit through budget season, is the non-voluntary language. In order to maintain class sizes within the class size range established by you, the school board, and upon initial placement into our school system, the non-voluntary transfer of students between schools within MSAD11 may be determined by the superintendent. Affected parents, guardians shall be notified in advance of placement and with consideration for what is in the best interest of the student. Upon the determination of the non-voluntary transfer, transportation will be provided by the district. The superintendent's decision in matters of this nature shall be communicated to the MSAD11 school board. So the idea here is that we have perhaps a new family in the community, and with let's say a 3rd grader, and we have 24 students or 22 students in 3rd grade at that community school, that I would be able to have a conversation and arrange for transportation for that student to attend in a 3rd grade classroom at a building where we're not over enrollment based on the class size policy range. So when we talked about it, the reason I wanted to bring it to your attention was because we had a pretty robust conversation during policy, and it feels, because it hasn't been our past practice, it doesn't feel great. And it feels like it's not welcoming to a new family, and that there's a sort of ripple effect. If that happens in 3rd grade, what about 4th grade? Does the student return to the sending school? Do we monitor numbers? My answer to that would be that with all open enrollment agreements, they are for 1 year and we reassess from year to year. Again, I am open to feedback. This is the first read. I wanted to make sure that you're aware that that language exists. And again, the idea here is that we have some ability to maximize resources while making decisions that are in the best interest of students, and trying to keep class sizes down.
So did we want to get some more feedback from the board or just have it first read and then go back to committee with this one?
I think based on discussion, it's going one of two places,
Yeah.
onto a second read or back to committee.
Yeah. So any discussion, any further discussion on that?
I was gonna say, if you have a family with multiple children, so the possibility might be that one of the, say, 3 children is going to a different school than the other 2 children, correct?
That is a possibility and would need to be considered when the decision needed to be made.
Is there an appeal structure at all?
No.
Molly, what did you ask? Whether there's an appeal structure.
And does this, how often in general does this come up so that people can sort of know that? I mean, it's not a very common thing.
As a building principal and as superintendent this year, I've never had a request due to overcrowding.
I'm just one.
Yeah. I would welcome administrators if you've had that experience. There's not an example on my radar at all. And ideally, that will not even need to come into play at all. I just think based on the conversations that we've had over the last couple of months, some sort of way to help solve a problem, if that becomes a problem, would be wise.
So it's a limited open enrollment. If there were 3 children and there was room in one school for all 3, could they all 3 go together to that school?
Certainly, that could be part of the.
Could that be part of the
That could be part
conversation?
of the conversation, yeah.
But we leave it to your discretion, correct?
Yes.
Based on the way it's
Yep.
working.
Yep.
And I think it's good to prepare for, kind of all these eventualities. This one hasn't happened, but because of where we're at with enrollment and class sizes, kind of is a case for a consolidated elementary school, because
Absolutely.
then we wouldn't have to worry about it, it would just be there. But we are running into some of those potential, like our class sizes might go over capacity depending on where people are moving. And we want to support families, obviously, with, being in the community they want, being in the school that they want to be in. We did talk about, as far as it goes, and thanks for catching this. I didn't mean to gloss over this at all. So I appreciate your detail on it. And I had a note that we did talk about the potential impact year over year if they do make the transfer 1 year. But then do they go back to the original school if there's room, or do they stay with where they've, made friends and maybe, connections with teachers in that new school? So there's some complexity to that, especially if it's a class size issue 1 year in one town and then it levels out the next. So
Yeah. And I think you make that decision on a case by case basis in collaboration with the family. You need to have that conversation to understand the dynamics. And I know the numbers and I know where we have space, but I don't know the student necessarily, and I don't know the circumstances for the family. So we certainly I always want to be mindful of meaningful conversations, thoughtful decision-making, and making sure that families understand the rationale behind a decision like that. Essentially, if we had a situation where we have, let's say we have that, again, class sizes of 23 in 3rd grade, we've got a 3rd grader that moves in. We're really at that tipping point. probably cannot hire an additional third grade teacher. And it's unfortunate if we have across the community class sizes of 17 in third grade. That's essentially the flexibility that I think is important for us to have at this point when we know sort of what we're up against as far as being spread across 4 elementary buildings. Just to illustrate.
No, and we've had
With
that,
specifics.
we've had that in the past where at LER, there'd be class sizes of 24.
Yes.
And over in Pittston, there'd be class sizes of 12.
Yeah.
We've experienced this before, that we're not right this minute is kind of great, but
Right.
it can happen.
And I mean, again, I'm open to language change if that's your preference. There is language that says that that information would be shared with you. It would be important for you to know that we're really starting to run into this. Because that would be a significant change in impact.
I was just gonna say, I would like to have an appeals process in there if, say, there are 2 different schools where there is room and the family would like one school versus the one that you've chosen, but do you see that coming up?
I guess one way that could come up would be that if there is something about the grade level in one building, even though there's space, if there's something about that grade level that would cause myself in partnership with the building principal who knows the group to recommend a different building where there is also space. That could be a reason why a parent might prefer one building over another, and the decision might not go that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just concerned, families move in, they may be looking for something specific, and if all of a sudden they're not getting what they thought they would be getting in terms of an education for their child, would there be some negotiation or maybe even some clarity? I'm sure discussions about why the change or why recommending a particular school would be important in the discussion with the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do wonder, since it's case by case basis, that I'm not discrediting what you said, but that an appeals process would, because since it's case by case, that's sort of like the structure. So then it would, if there was a discrepancy or something, then you and the principal or principals would be able to have that discussion with the parents and the, so I don't know if it would be helpful within the structure, because that way it's sort of it doesn't feel like all like structure, when you offer the appeals, but it's case by case. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like it's a personalized process
Yes,
already.
so it sort of takes the appeals part away from it.
Right.
Jeff.
Let's move the question.
Let's.
Well, so the proposition is just to put this forward for first read. And there's sort of 2 components to policy JCD. Sorry, just making a note there. One is the sort of voluntary transfer. So, and there's a form for that in our policy listing, which wasn't changed, isn't listed here. So that's the voluntary, I want to send my child to another school. The difference is the non-voluntary piece, right? For JCD. And I guess we're trying to predict either how much that's going to happen. Well, the frequency it's going to happen, but also the impact that it's going to have on on students and families if we do have to kind of impose that non-voluntary, like we're gonna choose another community school, or the superintendent will be part of that process to choose another community school. I think I am hearing from the group. Well, actually, does that answer what you were kind of looking at, Jeff?
Well, we discussed it, and is the motion to move it to the second reading?
Yeah.
Or move it back to the committee?
Yeah, well, it's actually to move it for first reading and then it would go to second for next month. I'd kind of like to get, people's thought. Do we want to bring it back to committee to hammer out a little differently to bring it back to?
I would make the motion that we do that, yes.
Kind of adapt it. Yeah, and I would modify them. Yeah, to put that. So so the motion would then be, thanks for the discussion. I really appreciate it, as policy chair. The motion would then be, do we consider moving this back to committee for further detail on the language? Do we have to update the second?
I second.
Yeah.
Are we
Second.
still moving GER for first read?
Oh, so yes, GER for first read, JCD back to committee, back to policy. Is that right? So second, all right. Any further discussion? All right, so all in favor, GER goes forward, JCD goes back. All right, cool.
Excellent.
And one more, if I could, a motion to approve the 4-year-old program handbook for this year.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Tony,
Oh,
first, Molly, a second.
yeah.
Thank you.
And then anything to add on this one, Superintendent?
I don't. We had a delay for a couple of months in policy meetings, and so it seems unconventional to approve the handbook for this school year in May, but that's the reason.
We're doing it, we'll be on it.
2026.
We'll
6,
definitely
7,
do
6.
something. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right, all in favor? Great.
Excellent. School-based health center advisory committee.
We had a meeting at the high school on April 27th. We got to tour the nurse's office. The construction work was almost complete in the move of the nurse's office, and the work in the new center is scheduled to be complete by June 1st. They've hired a provider, and the news is stay tuned for a welcome event.
Okay, thank you. No students, general information,
As written.
nominations.
Yes, we have an elementary inclusion specialist, Christina Teague, $79,242 as the salary. That is this year's rate. Remember, we are actively working to wrap up teacher negotiations as we speak. So that is subject to change slightly based on the scale for next year. We'll talk about that in executive session at the end of our meeting. And that $10,000 administrative stipend. So I recommend Christina Teague as our elementary inclusion specialist. I do all four.
Let's do them all in a bundle. Anna?
Okay. We have Zoe Hood Crane, special educator for Pittston Randolph Consolidated School, with a starting salary of $44,276. That again is this year's rate, subject to change slightly next year once the scale is finalized. And a new addition, Gracie Vaughn, grade 4 teacher at Riverview Community School, with starting salary of $46,972. Also the 25-26 rate.
Okay.
I recommend.
I would move we approve those new hires as recommended.
Second by Megan. Questions or comments? All those in favor? And the next bundle?
That's ready.
Do we need to move on these?
These are recommendations. So section B, recommendations for second year probationary teacher contracts as written.
Motion to accept the bundle,
So moved.
Second.
Oh,
second by Linda. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Michelle?
Okay, thank you.
Big bundle. All righty, continuing contract teachers.
Yes, I am recommending all of the staff members listed for continuing contract.
So moved.
Second by, okay. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Thank you. Administrative contracts.
Yes, as listed, my recommendations for 1-year contracts.
All right. Motion to approve this bundle.
second.
Second by Tony. Questions or comments? Yes, Joanne.
The director of transportation is crossed out.
It's in the 2-year.
Yes, his name was moved. And you'll
He's in
see
the
him
next
in section
bundle.
E.
Oh, okay.
All those in favor? And administrative contracts, 2 years.
Yes,
As a
as
bundle?
listed, yep.
So moved.
Second. All right, questions or comments? All those in favor? Excellent.
I'm gonna stand up again.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So in Maine, we have this magical thing called the Maine Junior Classical League, which is essentially Latin club, but statewide. And every year, the Maine Junior Classical League has 3 separate events. There's a fall convention, a Cartama tournament, and a spring convention. The spring convention is held at Camp Mechuana in Winthrop. It's an overnight, and it's a really fun and weird event for Latin kids from all over the state to get together and compete in athletics, academics, arts, creativity. It's a great way for kids to meet other kids from different schools who are also studying Latin and have the same interests. And we've been a part of it the entire time that I've been here. So this will be our 12th year going to the spring convention at Camp Mechuana. And it's something that they look forward to every single year. We have a chariot. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Do you fundraise for this or is there?
So we fundraise all year. There is a fee that students pay, and then there's scholarship opportunities through, this year we have scholarship opportunities through the Classical Association of New England, Kane. That's giving a $50 scholarship for each school. So we have that to cover a student, and then we cover all year. We fundraise all year so that if a student wants to go but can't afford the 60, it's 65, but we're charging 60. Don't tell anyone. The $60 fee, we have money to cover if they want to go but can't financially. And I said some, any, all to my classes, and they say, but it's in the woods. So we cover the cost of t-shirts as well, so that they don't have to pay that and.
And this requires board approval because it's an overnight. Okay.
Do they provide their own transportation or do we provide?
We have a bus. Gabe does. Gabe's driver.
Not me, sorry.
Gabe's
Can't bring it. Potentially.
Desperate times.
I will say, the kids have a great time.
Mhm.
The stories they come back with. My son will always remember it.
Yes.
Yeah, I move we approve that, the Latin Club overnight at Camp Mechuana.
Second by Janelle. Questions or comments?
And where do you store the chariot?
So currently it is we have two. One has been living at my mom's house, and she brings it up every other month. She has a garage, I don't. And I still have that. So she has the catapult and the chariot, that chariot. And then the new chariot is currently living at a student's house. And that student said, I don't know if I can go this year. And I said, you have chariot, you have to go. She may or may not be one of your board members.
Who's to say?
So close, right. This whole time.
So we can
Okay.
apply pressure as needed.
I already talked to her mom.
We need a motion and a second, so we can,
Okay.
we did it. Yeah. Tony and Janelle, all those in favor? Will you please take pictures of the chariot?
Oh, yeah, I'll email them to you later.
Thank you.
I mean, I think that maybe like bringing the chariot to a public place so we all could like get our pictures taken with the chariot. I mean,
It's really pretty. It is really pretty. They were very excited. They decorated it. They wanted to get like a tiger's head to put on it. It's very fun.
That would be a good fundraising thing, take a picture on the chariot.
Right?
Absolutely.
$1 for photo. Pass the helmet around. The helmet that lives in my car all year round, so I don't forget it on those 2 days.
Wow.
It's kicking around right now.
Chariot does not go on the bus.
The chariot doesn't fit on the bus. It doesn't fit in my car.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can sit down now.
Or-
You can. Graduation allocation by the board.
Yes, so earlier at the beginning of, earlier in this school year, we had conversations, I think in finance, perhaps as a full board, about the $3,960 allotment that the board reserves for the purpose of supporting the senior class. In the past, it's been dedicated to project graduation efforts and a trip, and that's evolved over time. So just putting it back on your radar, Mrs. Arnold is here to explain the replacement of project graduation, the latest and greatest celebration for our graduating seniors. And so, Mrs. Arnold, take it away.
So every year our juniors host prom, which is Saturday, it's coming right up. And that raises the money for their senior year. And typically we raise about 5,600 through prom ticket sales, and that's what allows us to get the matching funds from the district. And then since COVID, we found that the students really weren't interested in a typical project grad where they come, they spend the night. We've even pulled them in recent years. And so what started through COVID was the block party down by the waterfront. We really built that event up, and I'm proud to say it's like grown every year since I've been here. Last year, we had 128 seniors out of 134 in the class come to the event. So what we do is after graduation, we have all the students in the senior class come and they start a parade. So the parade starts on the Winter Street Church and it goes right downtown to the waterfront. Last year was really special because all the community members decorated their storefronts. We had a really good showing. And then the parade goes down into the waterfront. At the waterfront, it's a community event, and it aligns with our school goal and the strategic plan of connecting our community with our students. And so it's kind of like that last celebration for our seniors for a job well done. So we have a community block party. We have a lot of food trucks. We're actually trying to get more this year because we had such an increase to crowd size last year. We have a live band that plays. We're gonna have some different lawn games, there's fireworks, and then the students usually get some level of gift from us, whether it's like a little swag bag or maybe shirts this year. And so what we do is we take that matching fund and it goes into like getting those events like the fireworks, the helping with the parade, the gifts for the kids and the food trucks. And so we've just been really excited every year because the students have shared that the feedback is really nice to celebrate with the community at the end and to leave graduation and go right into that event. It's been a really good send off and it's been exciting to see the community come out to celebrate our seniors. So it'll be June 13th. The parade will start at 7:30, 7:45 right down into the waterfront. We encourage all of you to come. The band will be playing from 8 to 10 and you'll get to celebrate our seniors. So we're very excited.
Any questions?
Just a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a chariot?
I don't, maybe we should bring it out. So I'll add it to the photo booth section of the event.
I love that idea.
Yes.
Excellent. Other questions?
So we need to make a motion for the graduation allocation?
There's no action required. I just wanted to make sure that you were all aware that this happens and what that allocation is set aside for.
We'll send out an official invite. And also in terms of graduations coming right up, so we do save tickets. So if any of you guys are interested, please reach out. I'm happy to spearhead it. You can reach out to me and we'll save you a spot with the staff if you'd like to save us. Yes, please.
Encourage everyone to go. It's fun.
Yes, it's great.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Sun meal plan.
Yes, I just wanted you to be aware, again, no action required here. We are partnering again with the Boys and Girls Club to make sure that we have meals available throughout the summer.
Excellent.
Just putting that on radar.
And EBCC, letter of intent.
Yes, Angela, going to kick it over to you after I introduce it for a moment to let you prepare to speak to this. We actually have signed a letter of intent to participate in a grant opportunity that also includes coaching for leaders and staff at no cost. And so this is an opportunity we did not want to pass up. There's no financial obligation to us at this point. But if you could just, in a nutshell, explain the New England District Community Consortium 2026 coaching program.
So Nellie Mae Education Foundation is a New England foundation. Their home base is in the Massachusetts, Boston area. They have been known to fund pretty sizable community engagement type, a number of projects, but specifically community engagement in the last number of years. They always partner with a nonprofit. The nonprofit this year is Great Schools Partnership, which is out of Portland, Maine. We employ, or not employ, but contract with a school improvement coach through Great Schools Partnership sometimes. So we do have a relationship with that organization. There was a call for an interest to attend an event to learn about this grant funding process. And this part of the process is a preparation for the grant application. The grant application is due in September, in the middle of September, and the award is there's notification of an award in the middle of October. So from now till September, we can receive coaching support at no cost to ensure that we've thought about all aspects of the grant and what we're trying to achieve. We would need to partner with a community partner at least, and our school partner with the board. Our intent is to partner with Healthy Communities of the Capital Area. Pat Hart in dual roles, one as just like a lens of a leadership, but more importantly around her consulting business around data collection and analysis, because we need someone with a real strong data mind on the team. But the ultimate goal is to think about a way in which we can activate the strategic plan that we have in an effective manner in partnership with our community, real time, not just do presentations to the board and like have you ask a few questions, but like have effective working community committees that activate the community plan and help us think through what that plan was intended to do and how we can keep it moving and keep it alive with a lot of diverse perspectives. And we need to use this time to articulate how we would go about doing that and convince them that that's the right move for our 4 communities. And that ultimately by doing that, we are creating better conditions for our communities. We're creating better conditions for our students in school that will result in improvement. And then if they were thinking about the places they were supporting, how that ultimately impacts the culture of the state. Not the culture, but the success of the state. And so they will award about 5 groups, mostly school-based groups with community partnerships in each state across New England. We went to an event where there were probably 8 to 10 groups on site for Maine. So it is pretty competitive. It can be $100,000 to $500,000 over 3 years.
Wow.
To support thoughtful strategic implementation. We have no idea how that money would be actually used. Right now, that's what the planning process is for. And we'd like to bring in some other members on this team to help us in that planning process. Of course, we would secure board approval for any application that we brought forward, make sure that you had time to look it over, provide feedback, make sure it represented our district and our community effectively.
It was a great opportunity without a risk.
Yeah.
And so we're excited about this and just, again, wanted you to know this is one thing that's been happening behind the scenes. Thank you.
Brief description.
Yeah.
Okay, consideration to give seniors their used Chromebooks upon graduation.
Yeah, we have done this in the past. We would like to do it again. Terry can give you the details about why we think this is a great idea.
We have, the laptops that the seniors currently have are right around the COVID era. We have a lot of spares left from that. They're older spares, but this far out in the year, a lot of those kids are gonna go to those 2-year colleges. And we're hoping that they can use their Chromebook in the college for the next 2 years and move forward that way. I think this late in the game to say, oh, we're not gonna do that, I think it might be hard for some of those kids, especially because we have older spares that we can use at the elementary school that are about the same era as those laptops. So I recommend that we go ahead and move forward, giving the seniors who graduate their laptops like we have in the past.
And they have 2 more years of life left.
They do. If they've treated their laptop well. And that's one of the great things about the laptops at the high school. We don't get as much damage. And I think a lot of that is, A, they are older kids, but B, they think they're gonna get to take them when they graduate.
Right.
So there's an incentive to behave with them.
I move that we allow them to take their laptops.
Second. All those in favor? Excellent. Okay. New England's, consideration for the last day of school.
Absolutely.
Yes, our last day of school is Monday, June 15th. Typically, we have, the superintendent has requested to change that from a full day to a half day. So I am asking for you to consider that.
I'll move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yeah, I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in for you in case you were on the fence, just, you know how to vote. Just saying, last day of school, full day, guys. On a Monday. No, thank you.
Let's see, old business?
Yes, last month we talked about NESDEC and a membership, the New England School Development Council. And there were questions about services that are available through NESDEC. You should have this in your bundle.
It's probably in our email.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. So let me see here. We could get a membership for $1,293 based on our student enrollment. There are sort of details in this letter. I'm trying to be sensitive to time. This is the first year. Let me just read the whole sentence here so you have the right information in front of you now. Your district is entitled to take part in NESDEC's initial year incentive program. Through this program, the district pays half the applicable annual fee for the first year, 3/4 of the fee for year 2, and the full fee not until year 3. So for as low as $1,293 based on student enrollment, we could have access to the following services: an annual enrollment projection report, special education trend reports, school-by-school analysis of the enrollment projections, demographic study reports, long-range study, strategic planning. Those are the planning and management services that NESDEC offers. In addition, there are executive search services that are available. We did not price out what each service would mean or what each service would be, what the cost would be. What we know we're looking for right now is a basic membership in order to initiate some of the enrollment projections right off the bat. And if there were additional services that we want to take advantage of, that's not something that I would decide or Andrea would decide, but we would seek approval in order to maximize services that are available based on our needs. But what I would recommend and like to do is get a membership and start initiating some of those enrollment projections and studies that are available for members.
I think we should do that.
Andrea,
Yes.
is there anything that you would want to add?
No, I think that our membership can be obtained in this school year. We have funds for that. I'm not concerned about the fee, so I think we should, like Becky said, move forward. So moved. Second.
I had a question about how, the projections, I don't know, maybe that's proprietary, but how do they do it? How accurate are their projections?
I don't know. I'm sure that information exists, Tony, but I won't waste your time telling you things that I think, I don't know. What I do know is that I have done a little bit of research and looking around at other districts and they use NASDAQ.
That are using it, so you can.
Among other
Great point.
associates and architects and planning firms. It's
I have been in a district where we use this and it was a valuable source of information.
It did provide,
Tony, what I will say is that we've had several enrollment projections done over the years. Some have more value than others and some, it's hard to project enrollment, so. But it's part of the process that we think we are going to need to move forward with if we're looking at making decisions regarding our facilities.
If you're not satisfied with what you're seeing, can you just drop out of this program? You're not in a contractual 3-year agreement.
There is no obligation to renew from one year to the next.
Okay, so.
All right.
Not for me.
All those in favor? Okay. Board chair, it does say none, and in the interest of time, I won't make anything up. You're welcome. Thank you. We'll just keep moving. Because we have several other things.
These are brief. This will be quick.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
Okay.
And go.
Again, just putting on your radar, when the governor signed the supplemental budget, a lot of things were in the bundle. It was hard to tease out exactly what was what. So again, this is just no action required, putting on your radar, changes to the funding formula. We won't see them until fiscal year 27-28. But the two changes to the funding formula is moving to a cost of living index and updating the index to better reflect today's labor markets. This is going to add close to $40 million to the formula. So we talk about the funding formula not keeping up. And this is a means for getting there. And the other change would be shifting from currently property valuations are 100% of what a community is expected to contribute for schools. And the change will be shifting to a 90-10 scenario, which will be that which will include about 10% of a community's ability to pay and will take into consideration the number of economically disadvantaged students. So again, there's a lot there. That's a very skeletal sort of highlight, but two significant changes that could result in some positive change for us. Andrea, did you want to add anything to those two highlights?
The only thing that I would add is the 10% is going to be based on our ability to collect some data back from parents, which continues to be a struggle since the state is paying for school lunch at 100%. So until they find a better way for us to determine the districts that have poverty, it's going to be a struggle for us, so.
Like
we need
maybe
to
main
find a way.
revenue service,
Excuse me?
like maybe using main revenue service instead of asking us to gather that information?
The Department of Ed Finance, they've been trying to use data from main revenue. Main revenue won't share it. I don't understand why they can't, somebody up there can't force main revenue to share data, but this is what we have to live with until something changes. So I guess it's better than 100% on valuation, which is what we had, or what we currently have.
And we have till 27-28 to convince main revenue service that they should
Pulling up the info.
just be helpful.
Can I just say one more thing? There were other things in other recommendations to the school funding formula that weren't passed that I'm really disappointed by. One of them was changes to the special ed formula. It's just sad, sorry, but at least we have something, some mechanism to slow the rapid increase in valuation. So I guess that's better than nothing.
It is, I mean, how many times did we talk throughout the budget process about just the fact that a property is valued at this does not mean that you have the ability to pay that.
Right.
So yeah, thanks, Andrea.
You're welcome.
Just a couple of nuts and bolts here. We have our meeting with town officials to review the budget on Monday, May 18th at 6 o'clock. That will happen right here in this room. We have on Tuesday, May 26th in the gymnasium at the high school, our budget meeting, our validation hearing. We have our budget referendum, the big vote, Tuesday, June 9th. We'll have a special board meeting Thursday, June 11th at 4:30 p.m. That will be for the declaration of the budget vote. And of course, we have Gardner Area High School graduation at the Augusta Civic Center on June 13th at 5 p.m. And we need a motion, please.
Motion to approve all in this bundle?
No.
Go into executive session.
I move to go into executive session to update the status of contract negotiations with the Gardner Teachers Association.
All those in favor? Thank you all. Thank you for not falling asleep.
Do you want me to stick around for negotiations?
So Andrea, I think we're A-okay, thank you.
Yeah.